Okay, this one, they want us to make it a single trig function. I would begin by just multiplying through these parentheses. You know how to multiply parentheses with, we have two terms in the first parenthesis, two terms in the second parenthesis. So how do you do that? Well, you just take turns. You just say, okay, this first one, this one is going to multiply both these. And then when he's done, then the other one will go. So 1 times cosecant is just cosecant. I'm not going to write the x's. 1 times cotangent, he's done. That 1 multiplied the cosecant and the cotangent, he's done. And now the cosine, it's his turn. He's going to multiply both those guys also. So I'll go plus cosine times cosecant minus cosine times cotangent. And again, I'll write the x's later. Is that good so far? No more parentheses because I multiplied from outside the parentheses. When stuff from the outside multiplies, you're done with the parentheses. So first to both, second to both, right? First to both, second to both. That's how you multiply two terms with two terms in parentheses. They take turns. First to both, and then second to both. Okay, now what? Well, now we should change to sines and cosines. Remember? Open the thing here. Tangent is sine over cosine. Cotangent is upside down to that. Secant is 1 over cosine, and cosecant is 1 over sine. Okay, so cosecant 1 over sine minus cotangent, which is cosine over sine, plus cosine, which is just cosine, times cosecant, which is 1 over sine, minus cosine, which is just cosine, and cotangent, which is cosine over sine. So I just write C's and S's to make it easier. We get to there so far. So I just multiplied through the parentheses, first to both, second to both. Now I'm just breaking everything into sines and cosines, pretty much what we almost always do. And now anything that is, I'm going to put this guy over 1 and this guy over 1. Anything alone, put them over 1 because it's interacting with fractions, right? Just make it simpler. Anything alone is really over 1. Doesn't change anything. Dividing by 1 never changed anybody, right? Cosine over 1 is the same as cosine. Now it's just easier to see how it interacts with fractions. So what do we have now? We have 1 over sine minus cosine over sine plus, this is cosine times 1, cosine over sine times 1, sine minus cosine times cosine, cosine squared over 1 times sine, sine. Good to there? Tell my signs and code. Okay. Notice in the middle, these are going to cancel because they're the same thing. One's negative, one's positive. Negative cosine over sine plus cosine over sine, gone, 0. So now we have 1 over sine minus cosine squared over sine. Good. And notice these denominators already common denominator, huh? They already have common denominators. So we can just combine them into one fraction. You don't need to do anything. They're already common denominator. So you can just combine them into one fraction. Good. And now we need to recognize something. This guy right here. From our formula sheet, let me grab formula sheet for you. That's not the one I wanted. There it is. Yeah, so what do we have? 1 minus cosine squared? There it is. Right there. 1 minus cosine squared is sine squared. So you want to be watching that. Whenever you see 1 minus sine squared or 1 minus cosine squared, so 1 minus cosine squared is sine squared. So that is just sine squared. That is nice. So then this is just sine times sine over sine. They cancel. The answer is sine. Done. This is sine of x. And we got it. There it is. Questions on that one?